Hey, turkey time here in Minnesota. Welcome to another Driven Hunter podcast brought to you by Mission Crossbows. And today we're gobbling and we're talking turkey with Tanner Blaschka from Polaris. Tanner's down this week and we are chasing turkeys. Actually, we're tagged out on turkeys.
Yeah, we're done now.
Yeah, I think you had a pretty good hunt.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I've always been a huge whitetail hunter my entire life. Have never done a lot of turkey hunting. And this was actually my first Minnesota gobbler I was able to put down.
Nice.
So excited. It was so much fun. Already can't wait to do it again next year. Absolute blast.
Well, we've been talking about getting together and doing some hunting and fishing and stuff. And so it didn't take you long to, accept the invite when we put this together basically almost last year at this time. And, I told Tanner, I say, man, we got a lot of turkeys, so if you want to come down and shoot a bird, come on. And we're here in the third season, Minnesota. The weather is kind of cooperating, but it's been tough. Of course, we've had the first two seasons, we had snow, so those of you who are hunting here in Minnesota know what we're up against with just cold temps, and the weather just hasn't been right. But the turkeys are starting to turn around. It wasn't an easy hunt by any means, and today was day 2, and it was crazy the way it started. I mean, yesterday, first day, we saw a ton of birds and heard a lot of birds.
Heard a ton, yeah.
But to get them to respond to the call and come in, it just seems like they're all henned up right now. Mm-hmm. And we worked some turkeys. We tried to reap a couple turkeys, but they're just following hens all around and just didn't want to seem like, they wanted to read the script. But last night, actually, we found this bird all by himself at about 6:30, 7 o'clock. We watched him go over the hill and go into a particular valley. We're like, hey, all right, man, he's by himself. So you're getting pretty excited when you're like, let's go and hunt that bird this morning right away. So
yeah, he was. I mean, we saw, like you said, a lot of turkeys yesterday. He was one of the only ones that we saw that weren't henned up. And when we saw him the end of yesterday, we said, okay, I think we got our game plan for tomorrow morning.
Right.
And it worked out to a T.
It's like couldn't have worked better. And then we got up this morning and we knew it was going to be warmer. And when I went into the kitchen, I could hear the wind chimes. I'm like, oh boy. When I can hear those, it means it's windy outside. I hate wind when it comes to turkey. I can deal with a little bit of rain and stuff, but if it's windy, you can't hear them, they can't hear you, and of course everything is blowing and moving around, makes them nervous. I just don't like turkey hunting in wind. I can deal with other elements, weather elements, but just wind is terrible. And then of course it was windy, and we're hunting on top of the ridge, so it just kind of magnified everything. But at least we kind of knew where that bird was semi-roosted, so to speak, and we got in there at first light, got in quiet, used the Polaris EV. I mean, talk about stealthy, huh? Yeah, I think you got this week, you got a good taste of how we use those units to hunt with. I mean, they're just a game changer for us. I mean, when it comes to turkey hunting or whitetail hunting, I mean, they get us in there, slip us in there quietly, and we do a lot of float calling with those, and we did it yesterday. They just work amazing.
Yeah, and that was my first time, float calling like that with you guys, and I know you had talked about doing that a lot, and I could kind of see and understand how it worked, but then seeing it firsthand, like you said, an absolute game changer. I mean, getting so close to those turkeys and being able to sneak up and just stealthily go around the property. Absolute game changer.
I mean, even this morning, like when we unload, take the unit off of the Illuma trailer, and we're quiet all the way to where we're parking it, and we can park closer than we would if we had a gas unit, which if a bird's in a tree, he can hear everything. And I just want to be as quiet and, not disturb, make any foreign sound, because he's listening, and even though it might be still pretty dark out where he can't see, he's still going to be alarmed by strange sounds. So if we were driving a gas unit, going in, it might shut him up and might make him not gobble or come our way. So of course, taking the EV in there, parking it, getting our gear out, slipping into our setup spot was just key. And this morning, what happens? Just read the script.
Yeah. I mean, it was like you said, we were a little worried just with exactly how windy it was. I mean, we probably had 25 mile an hour, 30 mile an hour gusts, and it was like the spinning wind too. It wasn't coming straight out of one direction.
I was holding the blind down.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we had the backpacks pinned up against the blind, and it was still moving around.
A couple of times, the muddy blind just popped, like caved in and hit you, right?
Yeah.
It just because the wind pushed the side of it and caved it in, and you had to push it back out quick.
Yeah, I was worried about that, and that was right when that turkey started coming in. I mean, that was probably about 30 seconds after we spotted him for the first time. He was still probably 70 yards away at that point, but yeah, the wind started blowing and it pounded against my shoulder, and I'm like, uh-oh, no, like this is a chance. This can't be happening now, but I was able to pop it back, and yeah, we were able to seal the deal.
The thing is, I guess a great turkey hunting tip is like when it's windy like that, you really have to get on the call. And you might think, I don't like calling that loud, but in actuality, it's not loud. It could be, far away. But I wanted to make sure that I could get a response from him. Then I knew he could hear me by him gobbling back after I called. And I was using a mouth call, and then we used a flex tone slate call, just stuff that would really pierce through that wind. And of course, we got him gobbling. And every time I, hit him with a call, you even were kind of tag teaming him a little bit with two different calls, and he was hitting us back, and we knew, and then all of a sudden you could tell he's getting closer. I'm like, oh,
game on.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, or at least he's coming closer. So yeah, and then he came in, and when he got in, then I was reading his body language, if he was gonna come in aggressively, because we're using we had 3 AVNX decoys out. We were using a half strut Jake, and then we're using a feeding hen and the HDR upright hen. And they, he saw him and he was strutting for him, but he just didn't want to like come in and attack it. Like, that's what's wrong with our turkeys right now. I don't know why they're acting kind of jiggy, but anyways, finally he got into a spot where I know that Browning is, that Maxus is good to 65 yards with that TSS 7-shot, and I got to a clear opening. I'm like, kill him, and you hit him that shot. Said you hit him a little low.
Yep.
I think the pattern was fairly big at that point, because it was 45 or 50 yards.
Yeah, about 45 yards.
It was a good little
what we
poke.
ranged it at. Yeah.
But anyways, flipped him around and gave him a follow-up shot, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, and that Browning that Browning is a heck of a gun too. That was, I had complete confidence with that. Despite having limited experience kind of turkey hunting. So 45 yards, I had complete confidence with that gun from that range.
Yeah,
so.
You like it. And we got a Vortex red dot scope on there. That's the game changer in my opinion, because you're not beating down and taking a little end bead on the end of the barrel. You got this red dot. You can adjust the brightness levels on it, and even for women, kids, whatever, anybody can shoot that setup with those. Heck, my 7-year-old Cashton, he shoots a little Browning 410 pump, BPS pump, and it's got a red dot scope on it, a Vortex red dot scope like that. And he hammers them. He's killed 3 big gobblers with it. And
that brightness adjustment too, like you were saying. So when we were hunting yesterday, it was colder in the morning.
Yeah,
it was probably mid upper 20s, but the sun was out for the better half of all day. So being able, to have that thing fully dialed in bright blue skies, And then, fast forward to this morning and it's cloudy. It's early in the morning.
Yeah.
And I dialed that thing down to like 4 or 5 and it was just perfect. So yeah, the great setup there.
Sounds like we're trying to hard sell the Vortex scopes, but you know what? They are. It's like the perfect turkey setup.
Mm-hmm.
I've been borrowing my guns out now for the last couple of weeks. People are like, "Hey, can I borrow a gun?" Because they know these things are set up, and we pattern them, and I don't know what it is with TSS, but that stuff stones them when it hits them. So yeah, we've had great results using that combination, and we still got some more turkeys to shoot. I got an archery tag, and I've been out a few times, but they've been tough to get in tight in the bow range. So I'm gonna keep at it. Sooner or later, I'll find a rather dumb one out there. We'll chase them around.
My season's over. Yours is just getting started.
Yeah.
I know you got a couple other people you're gonna take out.
Oh yeah,
So.
Cashman. He's got a tag.
He's got a tag, and he already knows what turkey he wants
he's
too.
got his turkey already labeled.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it was funny because when we FaceTimed him after you shot this, and he goes, "Tanner, did you shoot my turkey?" You better not have.
Yeah, I go. No, I did not. It was a different one. He goes, good. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. He's got his picked out.
Man, it was a blast having you down for sure. And as we're in the blind, we're talking about the new things that Polaris, is coming out with, and of course the big hype right now, and everybody's talking about it, is the new Polaris Kinetic, the new electric, and it's a little different than the EVs that we're running around with right now. I'm excited about this thing because it's like shooting a Browning with that Vortex scope on it. It is gonna be my number one tool in our arsenal this fall, of course, for whitetail hunting. But you talk about a machine. Now, we got to do some testing on it earlier on this last year.
Yeah, about a year ago, almost exactly.
And I know that a lot of people got these things already pre-ordered and you pre-sold them. But when people start using these things like I used it, it really is going to it's going to blow up on you guys, because this thing, it's a full-size Ranger chassis, and it's big, and it's like got the most torque I've ever been in, and it's like driving, I guess, an electric pickup truck almost.
Yeah, and I mean, we started here talking a little bit about the EV that you guys have been running for years, our mid-size EV, the one we originally put out there. And again, that thing got the job done. It's a great for what it's supposed to do. When you look at the Kinetic, our new EV that we have, like you said, it's a full size Ranger. So if you look at kind of having all the benefits that you think of when it comes to EV, especially for hunting, just with in terms of no noise, no smell, the stealth mode that we talked about before, kind of just giving you that stealthy aspect. You get all those benefits with that vehicle and then some. It's got 110 horsepower, so roughly 3 times the horsepower of the one that we were in today.
Yeah. I noticed that. That was the thing. What's the battery life on these things?
Yeah, so it's a lithium ion. So there is a ton of advantages to that. It does really well in the cold. I would say, Pat and I were running around yesterday, and yesterday we were going all day. I mean, it was sun up to sundown. I would say we probably put 10 to 15 miles on the midsize EV out there. I would say with a Kinetic, you'd still have, probably 90 to 95% battery life. So what we say, there's 2 models. The ultimate model, we estimate about 80 miles of range for that. And I know a lot of our Ranger customers, even when we're talking to farmers and ranchers with huge pieces of property, they inherently think, 80 miles, I don't know, I use my Ranger all day. I might get through that pretty quick. And actually what we hear and what we see, we've done a lot of research on it. The average Ranger driver only uses their vehicle, 10 to 15 miles a day. Yeah. So we really don't see range being an issue for the majority of our customers, especially hunters. And does well in the cold, it's just going to be an awesome vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, a couple years ago, electrics were a little bit like people were hesitant.
Yeah.
But now with electric vehicles and everything turning electric, people are not as hesitant about, stepping into something fully electric. I've been using, of course, the electric EVs with the old battery technology and stuff like that. And they are like a must for us. I mean, for hunting. We have the 1000 North Stars here, gas engine ones, and they're our workhorses. I mean, we plow with them. We use them, around the farm here all the time. But when it comes to the EVs, I mean, they're our hunting in our hunting arsenal, and that's what gets us. I think, honestly, improves our success is just because we are so quiet and so stealthy about getting in there and getting quietly. So, yeah, man, it was a game changer for us, and when we started using them, and we're gonna be excited to get the new Kinetic course, in house here and put it through the test. But
And here's what I'd say. I mean, we get it too. Like electric isn't for everyone. Which is completely fine. There's a lot of things that it does really well, especially when we talk about things like hunting. But we understand at the end of the day, a Ranger is a tool. It's a tool for a lot of people. It's an absolute workhorse. And whether that's a gas Ranger, whether it's an electric one, we don't care. We just love being able to help people really improve their livelihood with them and use them as a workhorse. Use it for hunting, little fun around the property with friends and family. Like it's an all-purpose tool, and that's what we really build them for.
Man, Polaris has really set the bar, and especially with the side-by-side market now. We talked about being up at our cabin in northern Wisconsin, and it's just a new culture up there with all the side-by-side users, whether they're running, Razors or Generals or just, the regular Rangers. I mean, you see them by the hundreds, and they come in 15, 20 in a pack, and all weekend long it's just constant trail riding, and it's really helped the economy up there. It's gave it a huge boost. I mean, it was dead in the water before, but now, this has really turned things around. So, I mean, Polaris has been a big part of that, and I can't wait. We hear rumors about something new coming out in Polaris for the fall, and I'm pretty excited about that. I don't know if you can spill any beans on it, but I got to tell y'all, wait till you see what we got up their sleeve coming out pretty soon. So, maybe we'll just kind of keep it at that, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll keep it at that. You're a good friend, Pat, but I don't know if you're that good of a friend.
Hey, I did get you a turkey now.
Yeah, right.
Maybe I should let my viewers in on it.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the end of the day, kind of like what we started about talking here. We're sitting here at end of April, and we're just excited to finally be getting those kinetics out there and in the wild.
Finally starting to ship.
Yep. As we speak, there are units shipping, and we know.
I hope one's coming to Driven headquarters.
Okay, maybe it is. We'll have to go outside after this. So yeah, I know we had our customers waiting for a while, ran into a lot of supply chain challenges with the Kinetic, but as we sit here today, end of April, they're starting to go out. We'll have another order window later this summer. We haven't named any dates there with that, but some exciting times coming, and we're at Polaris, we're always working on stuff. So,
well, I'm excited to share that with everybody. Where does somebody got to go to check out the new Kinetic, and where can they see more information?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, can easily visit our website at Polaris Off-Road. You'll be able to check out kind of all the specs of the vehicle and see more about them. We've also done a lot of work just with various media partners as well. Right. So, we've done testing with that thing down in Florida on an Osceola turkey hunt with Outdoor Life and team. So, I mean, there's a lot of information out there on YouTube and reviews from people who have tested it, like yourself, where people can find out information. So
cool. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming down, doing some turkey hunting. You got an open invite next year. Come back. Hopefully we can get a little better weather. but I'll try to tie another one up for you.
Pat, I got no doubt in you. After day one, Pat was a little down in the dumps. He's like, "Oh, I didn't get one the first day." I'm like, "Pat, it's one day." I'm like, this far and away beats being in an office. And I said, I'm with Pat Reeve. I have no doubt we're going to get a turkey tomorrow. So I never had a single doubt in my mind. And even if we didn't, still beats being in the office. So
no doubt, right? Well, again, it was a blast. I appreciate you coming down. And yeah, that's it for Turkey Time with Tanner.
I like it.
It was awesome. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll be back with more down the road.